session. So ladies and gentlemen, the rent to buy strategy is a great way in which you can get started in property investing without a lot of help from the bank. Let's say that you might not be in a position to afford a home loan, or you might not have the best credit score. This might be a strategy for you to become a homeowner. So the rent to buy strategy is really allowing you to rent the property for an agreed period of time plus some additional monthly payments, and at the end of this set time that you're going to be renting the property, you have the chance to buy the property. Okay, now essentially what this strategy is allowing you to do is it's allowing you to buy some time. Okay, now during this time while you're renting the property, you have a chance to improve your credit score and to show that you can pay a monthly stipend to the landlord, which you can then create a business case to go to the bank. You could save up for a deposit during this period of time, and essentially is about creating a business case to the bank to say, I can deal with debt, I can handle paying a monthly fee every month towards being a homeowner, and this is my proof. So it's a great way in which you can over time prove yourself worthy of a home loan, which is really what's going to get you the financing to buy a property. So the question is the buy to rent strategy for you? Right? It's really good because you don't need upfront capital. You don't have to put a deposit down. You don't have to pay your buying costs, your transfer fees, your bond registration costs. None of those costs are applicable. All you have to do is you have to pay every single month your rent. And what's quite nice is that you pay a small additional sum every month to your rent, and that gets taken off the purchase price. So what you're doing is over a period of time is you're actually buying a piece of the property every single month until the end of that period, whatever that period is decided as. And I'll show you an example just now to make it real. Then you can actually make the full purchase. It gives you time to purchase in the future, because usually buying a property requires an upfront fee, and it does require some additional monthly payments. So if you're someone who doesn't have necessarily capital up front right now to purchase, you're looking to purchase in the future, and you're able to commit to paying a monthly fee, so your rent plus an additional amount, this is the perfect strategy for you to become a homeowner. So let me take you through an example, right? Let's say that this is a property in town, or in a location that you're looking at investing in, or you want to buy and you want to live here. The first option I'm going to give you here is buying the traditional way, right? So essentially buying with a bank loan. Okay, so first of all, you're going to have upfront fees, right? Those are your deposits, your buying costs, your transfer fees, your bond registration costs. Okay, those are upfront fees to buy a property using the bank. All right, let's say you agree a price of R1,000,000 for this property. The monthly bond, you would then go to the bank, put a deposit down. The bank would then charge you a monthly fee for 20 years to pay off the bond. I've just put you at 10,000 Rand. Let's just assume that's what you need to pay for 20 years, and then eventually this property becomes yours. The term is then 20 years. The capital needed in total would be the R1,000,000 to buy the property plus the upfront fees. Now, most people don't have R1,000,000 cash, so you would have to go to the bank. If you don't have a good credit score, if you don't have good affordability, this is the kind of option that the bank won't even consider. But if you do want to look at the buy to rent alternative, you might be able to become a homeowner in a couple of years' time. So the upfront fees of being a homeowner is a lot less than buying the property. The only fees that you probably need to put up are some sort of legal fees, putting together a lease agreement or an agreement with you and the seller that stipulates that you'll have, 8 years to rent the property, and then you have the option to purchase it. Okay, so the agreed price would still be R1,000,000 for this property. Now your monthly rental is going to be 15,000 Rand. Now I've put a star there because that 15,000 Rand includes your rent as if you were renting the property normally, plus a small portion of that goes towards buying the property. So think about it like you're not just paying your rent. What you're doing is you're paying your rent plus paying a small portion of buying the property over a period of time. So maybe 10,000 Rand goes towards your rent, and the remaining 5,000 Rand is what you're essentially paying to the owner over time to reduce the capital required to buy the property. Okay, so let's say the lease term is five years. So for 5 years, you're paying 15,000 Rand per month. 10,000 is going towards your rent. The other 5,000 is going towards paying off the capital of the property. So the remaining payment after 5 years would be 700,000. It wouldn't be 1,000,000, because over the 5 years, you're paying roughly about 300,000 Rand in capital repayments. So what you're doing in this buy to rent agreement, and obviously you need to get a good attorney on board to help you put the contract together, but what you're doing here is you're essentially paying off a portion of the property over 5 years, so that you're reducing the required payment for the property. Instead of R1,000,000, it's now 700, which you can go to the bank and get a loan for. That's a lot easier to get a loan at 700 than it is at 1,000,000. So your total capital needed is 720 as opposed to R1,050,000. That is a quick and maybe an overly simplified example, but I just wanted to show you the power of this concept, and how you can use this to your advantage to become a homeowner at a later period of time. If you don't have the right credit score, you don't have a lot of savings or capital savings, this is the kind of option you can take to rent for a period of time with the option to buy after that period. And in that period, while you're renting, you're able to pay off small portions of the loan. Now, this is a company, I don't recommend them. I have no affiliation with them, and I've never used their product, so please, that is just the disclaimer. This is a company that specializes in helping, empowering, enabling, and teaching people on how to do the rent to buy product. So again, please, this is not an endorsement. I have no affiliation with this product. Always, as I always say, always analyze the deal yourself. Don't learn to fish. Learn to fish. Don't just buy a fish. So please don't just let them give you a property. You always need to do your own analysis on it. But if you are interested in exploring more, this is a company that specializes and focuses on the rent to buy product. So that's the rent to buy. A great option for someone who doesn't have upfront capital, and is willing to become a investor in the future. In the next few years, you're able to pay off a small portion of the capital. Great way to get started in the beginning games of your investment journey. Thank you for watching another video on your step to financial freedom. Now, if you enjoyed this content and you're looking at what your next steps would be, well, firstly, go and look at my property investment coaching package. You can find that on lawrencebull.com/coaching. I've put the URL there. It'll explain what the coaching package entails. Alternatively, please go and get a copy of my book. You can get it at any exclusive books, or you can follow that incredibly long link, which is lawrencebull.com/product/financial-freedom-through-property. Finally, go get yourself registered with mypropertyapp.online, which is the app that I use every day to analyze deals. It basically is a set of inputs that you put in, and then it'll calculate your return on investment, your exit strategy, your 20-year cash flow projections, your return on equity, everything that you need to know. Until next time, happy investing.